Well,
all right, let it come through this way. I'll close my eyes.
come on.
Ma'am, you might just as well leave that basket.
Sure, Mississippi.
Come on, Marty.
Are these the top 10 westerns of the 1960s? The 1960s was one of the last great decades for the classic western genre. Complete with cowboys, gunfights, famous and less than famous actors, the genre will forever be there in renown and memory. For over a century, we have watched these classic movies from the well-known actors like Clint Eastwood and John Wayne, and brilliant directors like John Ford and Burt Kennedy. Comedic, full of action. Most of the time, they even had heartwarming and thoughtful stories and morals behind them, historically or just emotionally based. We can't get enough of these characters, debating which are the best Western movies of all time, rewatching the favourite classics. Deciding which era was the best can be difficult. However, there really is something about the 1960s. Westerns ruled in this time. Arguably, the last great decade for Western movies. Here are some of the greatest Western movies of the 1960s. If you like this video, take a look at my channel for many more. The link is in the description. Apologies as always for any mispronunciation of names. Ombre, 1967. John Russell, Paul Newman, disdained by his respectable fellow stagecoach passengers because he was raised by Native Americans, becomes their only hope for survival when they are set upon by outlaws. Starring Paul Newman, Frederick March, Richard Boone, and Diane Cilento. Steve McQueen was offered the role of John Russell, but turned it down because it reminded him of Melody Bachelor, in which he played a half-Indian. After the release of this film, McQueen said it was one of Paul Newman's best roles. The Wild Bunch, 1969. An aging group of outlaws look for one last big score as the traditional American West is disappearing around them. Starring William Holden, Ernest Borgnine, Robert Ryan, and Edmund O'Brien. Ben Johnson said in an interview that the Mexican women who frolicked with him and Warren Oates in the huge wine vats weren't actresses but prostitutes from a nearby brothel who were hired by Sam Peckinpah so he could tell people that Warner Brothers paid for hookers for his cast. Once Upon a Time in the West, 1968, directed by the legendary creator of the spaghetti western genre, Sergio Leone, starring Henry Fonda and Charles Bronson as his enemy. We follow rail baron Morton, who wants a piece of land and sends his helper, Frank, to scare off the owner so that he can claim it. Scaring is one thing, but Frank takes it a step further and kills him instead. One of the greatest epic westerns of all time. Once Upon a Time in the West is a beautiful, grand depiction of the birth of modern America. Henry Fonda prepared for this role as the villain, Frank, by arriving in Italy with a pair of brown-coloured contact lenses and a moustache. When Sergio Leone saw them, he ordered them removed. Leone had planned an important close-up shot of Frank's entrance and wanted the audience to instantly recognize Fonda with those blue eyes. El Dorado, 1966, starring the iconic Western actor John Wayne. El Dorado is thrilling, exciting, and full of action, to be expected in a Western starring John Wayne, as he rides in to save the day. This is the middle film in Howard Hawks' brilliant Western trilogy with Wayne, preceded by the masterpiece Rio Bravo, and followed by Hawks' last film, Rio Lobo. Robert Mitchum initially played the alcoholic sheriff as a weak and pathetic character, but Howard Hawks decided this was too similar to Dean Martin's portrayal of a drunken deputy in Rio Bravo, 1959. Thereafter, it was decided that Mitchum would play Sheriff J.P. Harrow, mostly for laughs.
Can't make up my own mind.
You got it under the wrong arm, Cole.
Well, how would you know? You've been using it first under one arm and then the other. Fine friend.
The Magnificent Seven, 1960. A all-star cast including Yul Brynner, Steve McQueen, and Charles Bronson, and one of the most iconic theme songs in movie history. The Magnificent Seven is a classic, a loose remake of Akira Kurosawa's masterpiece, Seven Samurai. Follows a small village that has been attacked by the outlaw Calvera. In order to protect themselves, 3 Mexican farmers head out to buy some guns, when they are advised to buy professional gunmen instead. They recruit a group of skilled fighters and create a plan on how they can protect their village from being attacked again. Although the film received only mixed reviews, John Sturges got a rave from the one source that really mattered to him. After seeing the picture, Akira Kurosawa was so impressed, he sent the American director a ceremonial sword as a gift. The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, 1962. A senator returns to a western town for the funeral of an old friend and tells the story of his origins, starring James Stewart, John Wayne, Vera Miles, and Lee Marvin. One day, Ford came on the set, and Marvin whistled loudly through his teeth. The crew froze, certain there would be trouble. Instead, Ford just smiled, because he recognized that what Marvin was doing was giving the Admiral's whistle and piping the director on board.
Without trying to build a life on it?
You talk too much. Think too much. Besides, you didn't kill Liberty Valance.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, 1969. A western loosely based on the true story of 2 Wild West outlaws. This story tells of them on the run with Sundance's lover Etta. It's ultimately a story of friendship, adventure, difficult romance, crime, and life as outlaws that never fails to be exciting. Butch and Sundance just may be the most lovable outlaws in Western history, and Paul Newman and Robert Redford provide us a brilliant, amusing, but grippingly dramatic movie with one of the most iconic endings in history. The real Butch Cassidy, whose name was actually Robert Leroy Parker, got his nickname because he once worked in a butcher's shop. And Sundance Kid, real name Harry Alonzo Longabaugh, got his nickname because he once was arrested in the Wyoming town of Sundance.
Is that what you call giving cover?
Is that what you call running?
A Fistful of Dollars, 1964. Who doesn't love Clint Eastwood, with his good looks, his cool demeanour, and great gunslinging action? Eastwood plays the man with no name who becomes known as Joe, Eastwood's first leading role, initiating the rise in popularity of the spaghetti western subgenre, and it was the first instalment of what soon became the Man with No Name trilogy. Sergio Leone warmed to Clint Eastwood very quickly and joked that he had only 2 expressions, with hat or without hat.
Listen, stranger, did you get the idea? We don't like to see bad boys like you in town. Go get your mule. You let him get away from you?
Yeah, see, that's what I want to talk to you about. He's feeling real bad.
Huh?
My mule. You see, he got all riled up when you men fired those shots at his feet.
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1967.
1,000.
Eastwood returns in this final part of the 3 films from Sergio Leone,
$1,000.
generally known as the Man with No Name trilogy, The Good, the Bad, and the
Some
Ugly.
in gold.
The iconic Clint Eastwood,
Tiny sum.
The Good, Lee Van Cleef, The Bad, and Eli Wallach, The Ugly,
When I'm
as they oscillate between teaming up and competing for a great deal of money. Fun, fast-paced, and thrilling. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly has to go down as a classic gunslinging western, and the 3 actors have an endearing, energetic, and exciting atmosphere on the screen. Because writer and director Sergio Leone spoke barely any English, and Eli Wallach, Tuco, spoke barely any Italian, the 2 communicated in French. True Grit, 1969, known as one of John Wayne's best westerns, and one which saw him win an Academy Award and a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor. Wayne appeared as Rooster Cogburn, who young Mattie Ross hires after her father's murder. Looking for revenge, Mattie asks Cogburn to help her track down the man who is responsible. Together, they go on a dangerous and action-packed journey to bring justice to Matty's father. Though Cogburn has eccentric techniques of hunting someone down, True Grit became a well-known film within the Western genre and is possibly one of Wayne's most recognisable characters. Elvis Presley was considered for the role of LaBeouf, the Texas Ranger. However, Colonel Tom Parker, his manager, insisted that Presley should receive top billing. The part was given to Glenn Campbell instead. Thanks for your time today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate likes, shares and subscribers. Don't forget to hit the notification button to get my new videos. Drop me your comments. Bye for now. See you again soon.
It's the crazy idea you're laughing at him.
Interesting facts about famous people.